next week. Over the good old days. No Zoom.
Yeah, no Zoom.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In case of fire or emergency in the stairs room, there, and there. In case of emergency, please proceed to Mayor's exit, find Mayor's third building. You get as far away from the building as you can, except those firemen and fire police who should be doing their job here. Probably get a comment from the mat. Okay. Thank you. All right, first order of business is we need to verify. Do we have a quorum? Do we have a quorum?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, rule of open meetings, you gotta say you have a quorum.
I usually do it in minutes.
Okay. Memorials, we don't have any memorials that I know of. Permits and subdivisions.
I don't remember some.
Minutes. Oh.
I make a resolution that we approve the minutes for both of the meetings as, all three of them,
Those are in
as presented.
there? Okay.
I'll second that. I read them online.
Yep.
Any revisions or corrections?
Last one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Dog control officer, he has got a case of running dogs up in Hilltron. To report tonight, so. That's being taken care of, we hope. It does seem we have a lot of running dogs lately, a lot of dropped off dogs. I know at least 4 that were dropped off around here in the past 3 weeks. In addition to mine, or the one that somehow found its way to my house. So that's the report. Dog control, tax collector. Money.
Well, I turned in my December report because I did collect the last 2 days of December. I think I've taken in $314,000 so far. Oh, excuse me. Will all end up in your pocket. You've already gotten most of that.
Well, thank you. I can't wait for more.
I don't know.
More.
Yeah, hopefully I'll have it all to you by the end of next week.
It's always great to take the check and endorse it, and that's the last I see of it. All in probably 5 minutes. So we'll see. Anything else?
No.
Planning board report. Bonnie, you're talking about something here.
I have one question. I had emailed off to you the mobile home law that I had redone and the thing from John Graham. And when I got all done, it's the same thing. Until somebody tells me exactly what they need to have in it, I would just repeal it. Because unless you're gonna bring in a mobile home that's older than 1976, there's not much of anything that applies. So I put it in your hands.
Okay.
You can, because in the end, you're the ones that have to approve it anyway, so at this point, I think it's almost a moot point, so I put it back in your hands, and if you wanna talk to John about it, fine, if not, whatever. We had our planning board meeting on last Wednesday, the 12th. Went through all the things that we're doing that have to do with the survey. The postcards that come, which we had labeled most of them today, and they will get out. The yard signs are supposed to be to us next week. The article was in both the Granville Sentinel and in the Whitehall Times. And you did a nice long article. You did a nice job, by the way. Things that, I assume he got in touch with you? Yeah, good, because that was really nice. And the thing I liked is on the front, the green is Hampton, for finally once we were in the paper. And the only thing is, because Cam was here today, I didn't realize when I had the discussion with Austin that he recorded all of it and then he printed a lot of that. And that was the thing about John Mashik and the Perry Farm. And so John came in today and I said, John, I was gonna call you last night. I read this and went, oh my God, we're in trouble. And he just laughed because he had the paper right with him when he came in. So anyway, we're gonna be putting the yard signs up at all different points around the town. I had sent you the thing and asked if you'd be willing to send out your email blast when the survey online is ready to go out, which actually is live now, if anybody wants to try it out. And we're gonna see what we get back. Both Richard Cole and Stuart Griffin were on Zoom with us at our last meeting, both interested in being on the board. I sent them back both emails and said that we would be discussing it because one is a full member and one is the alternate. And then at your next meeting, I will get that to you before then, because you're the ones who have to decide who you're appointing and whatever. So, but they were both very nice and very interested. I also didn't realize that Stuart Griffin had written a novel. It's called Northbound, and I bought a copy of it, so I'm reading it right now. So the only reason I knew was his email is Northbound the book, and I said the book.
And I ordered the second book,
Did you?
so we'll trade.
Okay. But very,
She ordered Northbound, you ordered.
There's
Order
another one,
something?
I don't remember what the name of the other one is.
yeah,
Yeah.
But
but
there's two, yeah.
he's really interested. He wants to do a lot of gardening and all kinds of things and plant trees and everything out there where he is, and he's on that end of town. Richard's on the other end, and he brings a lot of expertise we'll be able to use. So they were both on the Zoom and contributed and talked, and that was really good.
Seems to be someone else expressed some interest to me, and I told him to get hold of you, I don't.
Bob Short, is that Bob Short? Bill Short?
I don't remember.
Well, then Stuart's wife said she was interested too, and I said, we only have 2 spots. Yeah, put 2 people. Anyway, so this stuff's all pretty much gotten together, and hopefully people will get interested enough to, and we'll push them enough to fill that stuff out, because it's important that we gather this data that, I mean, you try to get data even from the county of what goes on in our little part of, other than whose parcels are whose and what, but. And then next, we're gonna be doing all the soils and watershed and all that type of thing.
So, you Bob expressed interest?
You had given me his name, but I never did talk to him. so-
Okay, okay, no problem. All right,
But that's it. And our next meeting is February 9th, I think it is.
any other questions for Bonnie? Okay, Tyler.
Hey,
Good guy now.
superintendent's report. So the past month, we stayed busy plowing, sanding, snow and ice. We've been cutting, using the grader to cut ice pack off our dirt roads, which is been a questionable thing with a lot of people. They've come down and asked about that, and I'll explain that in a minute. Due to the frequent snow showers and several freezing rain events, we used a large portion of our sand. We might look into probably purchasing some more, just to make sure. We don't want to get to that point where we don't have it. Our 2009 International broke the divider drive shaft between the 2 rear ends. The issue has been fixed by Pete Turning. And yesterday, while washing and doing inspections, Todd found a separated apron chain link, which we were able to fix last night. That was a sketchy thing. We're pretty discouraged. It's a brand new body, it's a brand new chain, and why it's separated, we're not sure. The only thing I can think is powder key did not go into the master link, because it broke on the master link. Thankfully, Todd caught that. That was a heck of a catch. That was $1,700 if that chain fell apart. So we're crossing our fingers. We ran the chain around a little bit last night. But we think we're good.
Okay.
And also, me and Mike, we traveled the roads here in Hampton. Did a little discussion about My concerns are our highways here in Hampton. Upcoming projects, future projects. I think we got a little bit more to talk about. Me and Mike both, kind of told each other where we want to be. I think we both agree that the project on South Road is probably one of our more important projects, so most likely Monday I'll be in touch with Jim Hogan, Deb Donahue. Probably touch base with Deb. Jim's gonna be the guy we really want to talk to. And I'm gonna ask Jim to come out with the engineer who designed the plans for South Road and have an actual meeting. In the emails that were sent last year, there's a lot of vague things in there. We don't quite understand. But I also didn't understand that the county understood that they were designing these plans and it was for us to do the work, and it wasn't put forward that we were asking help from them. And Deb has reached out and said that the help is there. We just need to put what we can supply for our end of it. So, besides that.
Okay.
And as far as salt goes, we're about, I'm gonna kind of estimate we're about 10 to 12 ton usage over last year at this time. Due to the ice, last year we didn't have a lot of the ice. I'm gonna compare to 2 years ago, which I think we're gonna be about the same, similar year. We still have roughly 50 ton to be delivered that we requested. We can always go over that, try to stay within our 160 ton. So the next 2 weeks we'll decide what we're doing with salt and our sand. That's that.
Good. We have replaced the computer they're using out there, and I suggested to Tyler that they cover it up. Because dust is getting in it, and that's killing computers. So we got a laptop, so it needs to be portable, but it's easier just to cover a laptop than it is to hold a computer. Actually, there's not as much fan usage in the laptop than there's there. Went over tonight, and that printer that I donated to the town probably about 9 years ago, finally cracked the bed. I had a printer we bought for them. I went through and I can't find the damn power cord for it. I gotta work on that. Okay. Money for chips in Cape New York is out. It's the same as last year, 150. If you don't have big numbers, based on those numbers, you have the same amount we did last year.
Okay,
Okay.
that's,
And what we used to be emergency weather repair is now pothole money. Emergency weather repair was added by Assembly in the Senate. This year, the governor's put it into their budget. So that's all set too. So your three numbers should be right the same as they were last year.
okay.
So you can start planning what you're gonna do. Let's not wait for the last minute like I always have, because it's more beneficial the sooner we can pay, the sooner we can pay for it. And
That being said, we need to, within this month of February, put in our purchase for culverts. I do believe I spoke with Mike about that yesterday too. I think there's 3 and 1's questionable culverts need replaced on the South Road before we pave. I think a couple were 12-inch. We're gonna go to the 15 because that's what FEMA recommends. We had the 15-inch cross culverts. So we'll be putting in that order. The next thing is with Lane is there is a shortage of plastic culverts and the metal is also hard. So we might have to do some search around for our big culvert on South Road outside of Lane. I know that's our state contract, but that's a project we can't push off. I'll be in touch with them next week and we'll get that all priced out, and I'll be in touch with you and everybody and we can see what it's gonna cost.
okay. Good. Any updates on that?
I spoke with Heidi day before yesterday. There's no changes. they're still going by a week-to-week thing. I don't really know where to go with that. At this point.
Is he on the ventilator now? Or is he off?
I do believe he's still on.
John, okay, because I thought there was some discussion maybe.
They were talking to pulling all support of life this past Monday, and I got the text message Monday, and I'm like, I don't want to read this one, and she just simply wrote that there was no changes in his health status at this point.
So you're right, I don't know what to do from here.
Well, if we touched base a little bit, talking, this is a touchy subject. With what's covered under COVID laws, everything else. Right now, I'm in a good position. I got one guy that can be here every day, Todd, and my father's covering as our third driver right now. So I'm just asking, we want to be thinking, but we want to not push forward and put ourselves in a position where we do something wrong.
No, I understand.
I just, there's so many different things with the COVID regulations and what an employer can do, can't do, and I'm really haven't touched base of how that falls with a municipality like ourselves. And we could really put ourselves in a bad position making the wrong decisions, so I think we all should take a little time.
I also want to give you a number to call. I would suggest you might talk to Danielle LePan, who is the head of personnel and service, civil service in Washington County,
Okay.
and find out what the rules are. I know some of the rules, but I don't know where COVID kicks in.
Exactly.
But I think that realistically, if he's this is going to be a long-term recovery, right? Correct, David?
Yes,
We're not talking about once he comes out.
Jumping out of that truck or car.
he's gonna be really weak and he's gonna be months.
So at that point, we have to think what we're doing. But I will give you the number to call, and I appreciate you giving a call and talking to her about what it is.
Sure.
And
Yes, absolutely.
figure out what it is and what our options are.
Okay.
I do know that we have to be careful, but also we have a job to do,
Absolutely.
and we have to make sure we're covered. And maybe at the point where it's hard to find temporary help, it's not, but I don't know.
We have Todd till probably, I spoke with Todd yesterday before we got done, just to touch base. We have Todd good well into March first. He's planning on giving us a solid till second week of April. And
Don't take a year off and fencing.
yeah, I know, I like him to take about 15 years off, but so we do have coverage there.
Well, as we get into spring season, you're gonna be looking for more people to work and hire and part-time, and you know, if they're trucking, and it's gonna be hard to compete with Peckman's and everyone else paying $25, $30 an hour, $35 an hour. So, you know, we want to look at it. Jimmy was a great find, great worker. If he stayed off a motorcycle, we're better off, but, you know, because you already had one that long.
Yeah, that's, he had definitely some health issues there.
We'll see. Okay, well, I remember I've got it here someplace on my phone. I'll give it to you. Any other questions for Tyler?
You talked about them, people being angry about.
Oh, the grading. So we had a few people ask what we were doing with the grader. They think we're cutting the road up. What the thing is, we're taking the ice off, and there's layers of multiple storms there of ice, so there's gonna be layers of sand. So what people were seeing was dirty snow. They thought we were ripping up the road. They got a really smooth one now, but the question I was getting was, oh, you're putting that sand in the ditch. It's all going there anyways, whether we wait till spring and plow it off of the trucks or we make the road safe now and do it. It's just it's a practice that a lot of Vermont towns use, Western New York uses with cutting ice off. Gravels, dirt roads seem to get away with mixed loads with salt sand on the roads, but a lot of the roads are lifted, which means they have drainage. So they don't get what we've all seen, our spring, the road flips over, the good goes down, the bad comes up. We're trying to keep that off our roads. I think we're gonna battle a bad spring this year with the amount of cold, heat, cold, rain, drills the frost way down, so when it flips. So what we wanna do is not have that salt on there, so we don't get that rapid. Here it comes, we can't get in the roads or anything. We do expect ruts, it's something that comes with dirt roads, but if it's in a small margin, we can handle it. So, if anybody's wondering why the grader's out, it's just us trying something different. And so far, it's working very positively.
I just want to thank you for your time. I thought it was very informative. I saw a few roads that I've never seen before, you know.
I was gonna ask that.
Yeah. I mean, there's no, I always thought Hampton was just from the post office to Quimby Hill on South Road. That's joking, but no, it was great. And then we talked about, communication plan, like a master plan we need, because there's so many moving parts when you do a big job like that, what we're gonna do at South Road, because it just doesn't happen. It's gotta be well coordinated and, scheduled and documented, and then, so we're gonna continue to work on that. But thanks for your time.
Thank you for coming
It was
out,
a good day.
appreciate it.
Maybe you can take some other people for a tour too.
You gonna buy me a bus?
You get a bus. You get at least, you get one person that read. That's not done.
That's what we're doing.
Okay. Good, anything else to go?
Happy.
You see, I ripped that stuff out off your desk and
Yeah, you threw it in my chair, thanks. I'm clearing on Monday.
that's my first step. My next step is that I want to go through it, toss a lot of that stuff away. There was lead cords in there doing nothing. So.
We had to do something.
Okay, supervisory report. We have a supervisory report behind in front of you. We have two reports. We have month ended December 31st, 2021. More important is year-end report. Then we have several adjustments to make. A lot of the adjustments were based on the money coming in from the ARPA funds and expenses related to that. And some of those were recovery funds recovered, so it's important having that. So let me take a look at it and we'll go through the adjustments. We notice that in their report, I'm not quite sure what I can put it here, is the payment schedule for Wells Fargo.
That's got to do with our audit, Dave. No, let's talk about that later. We'll talk about it now. if you want.
Okay, so I just didn't know I should put it there.
Well, we don't, so we went through, and Herb, you can hear me, right? Don. Sorry, brothers, but.
I'm here.
We did our, appendix C, and when we got to indebtedness records, is there an indebtedness register maintained? And the second thing is, so we haven't had one. And is there registration, is the register complete and up to date? So, we're talking, we're really not familiar with dealing with debt. So there's two things we need to represent someplace or track, or we've been asked to. The two debts that we're thinking about is we have the loader. The loader is a debt, and we have the money we borrowed for paving. So those things need to be, and it doesn't have to be there, Dave, but for last night, we suggested putting it there. So someplace we need to track it. As a group, like when we look at all our bills, we can see our debt coming down. So we need to put a process in place.
That's a good idea. I'm sure we'll figure out how to best do it and work with us to make sure we have the information we need.
Right, and yeah, well, it is a good idea, and that's why we do these audits, and we all said, the three of us said, it's a good idea, we gotta reflect that someplace. And I don't know where she put can you see where where's the bond listed? That's gotta be done, same thing, it's gotta be reflected somewhere so we can all track it, monthly as we come through and do our, oh, Tammy found it. That's where she's gonna add it, she handwrote it. Okay, it's 3, it looks like.
Of the highway fund. So the year ending one, page 3, page 4, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we don't have to cover it, I guess.
So I think that's where she wants to reflect it, and if no one has an objection, or if somebody has a better idea, then we'll just list it there.
Well, I'm sure she'll look it up and see what the best place to put it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it should be a line item in there somewhere with the debt, or if it should be just something that we need to record for like the beginning of the year, just so that it's on record. So if somebody does come and want to look at the records, it is available.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll work on it and see the best way to put it and how to handle it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, she probably look at what she does at the school because they have that.
Right.
We'll see. Okay, within that, for general expenses, we need to increase central printing and mail by $4,159.75. Unallocable insurance by $924.35. Garage contractual expenses, $3,173.36. State retirement by $6,431.50. Never got that allocation. She prepaid this year. We didn't have the money to prepay last year, but she wanted, so we'll have 2 payments in this year. But hopefully next year you're not in the cycle where we prepay because you save a few $100s. Justice contract, justice of C expenses. That also includes the ramp and the cover of the ramp. And someone asked me tonight, but I forgot I didn't have to shovel that because that stuff packs right down. I don't think people know how hard it is to get that stuff out there. Increase contingent fund by $8,650.21. So the increase in expenses is $39,556.19. Federal aid increased by $37,099.19. And fines and forfeiture bill increased by $2,457. So that gives a offsetting income increase of $39,556.19. So I'd like to get a motion to make those adjustments on general expenses.
I'll make the resolution.
I'll second it.
Motion by Tammy, second by Don. I heard her first.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Councilman Trika,
Yes.
Councilwoman Taryn,
Yes.
Councilman Sadie,
Yes.
Supervisor O'Brien,
Yes. Highway expenses, general repairs, personal services increased by $9,550, $5.84. Capital outlay by $45,222.38. That reflects the increase in paving we did this year. Machinery contractual expenses is $55,873.40. Miscellaneous contract expenses increased by $59.57. Retirement by $5,881.50. Social Security by $816.47. So the net increase in expenses is $63,460.25. So that was offsetting of $53,941.91. Oh, general repairs. Okay, general repairs
Went down.
went down by $63,467. So that decreased. So that's where the calculation is.
Right.
And income increased by $44,666.47. And federal aid other $9,275.44. So the offsetting income increase was $52,941.91. So I would like a motion to make those adjustments.
Make the resolution.
Led by Tammy,
I'll second it.
second by Mr. Shady. Any further discussion or questions? So just a quick note. Our unexpended balance in the bank balance on the front sheet is $50,064.97. So that's normally what we have, actually probably a little bit more because all the offsetting revenue recovery from COVID for the past 2 years, that's reflected in there, and that was about $15,000 on the federal side and the general side. And in highway, take $100,000 off, there's $100,000 is the bond payoff, so our unexpended balance net out in the highway department was $33,710. So
That's good.
it's pretty good. Considering last year we had to buy a box for $46,000. So we'll see. Okay. Any other comments on the questions on the general fund profit and loss?
Before you go on, I'm gonna do a roll call on those highways.
Oh, yes, no problem.
Councilman Dean,
Yes.
Councilman Trika,
Yes,
Councilwoman Taryn,
Yes.
Councilman Sadie,
Yes,
Supervisor O'Brien.
Yes. So. Any questions on the supervisor reports?
No.
Okay. and
I'll make a resolution to accept the supervisor's report as presented.
Both year end and into December. We got two of them.
I will make a resolution to accept both.
Okay. Motion by Don Sadie, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mike Pacheco. Any further discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Here, thank you. And I think there's one circulating around the sign.
It's over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you
Sure.
sign it?
Yes.
Okay. The next was audits.
All right, so I have, Travis and I did the town clerk audit, and there were no problems identified with that, and then we did the tax collector audit a couple weeks ago. And yeah, we also have no problems found. Those two are done.
Okay. Then Mike, you did
Supervisor.
supervisor books.
And we found no discrepancies. We completed the audit yesterday, Donna and Kim. And with the exception of the indebtedness schedule that we noted, and we both signed off on it. So that's what we're complete. That's yesterday afternoon.
Performed the court audit last Thursday. As usual, she had a good job and does a good job on it. So that was all satisfactory. So we need a resolution to adopt the audit.
Yeah, if you could, I mean, I don't care if you make mine, Cam and Kim's together, but I need a separate one for the court, because I have to send it in.
All right, we have the resolution to adopt the court's audit.
I'll make a resolution.
Motion by Tammy,
Second.
second by Mike. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor? Carried.
Abstain.
I'll make a resolution to accept the other three.
Probably. I don't know how you, yeah, I guess you should. I don't know who else is gonna do it. Because you did mine and Cam's, so.
Mhm.
You really should.
Right. So you want me to make a resolution to accept?
Yeah.
The audits
somebody
that,
else other than the two that did it.
Oh, okay.
I would think.
So I'll make a motion that we accept the town clerk audit and the tax collector's audit performed by Tammy's group.
I will second that.
Second by Mr. Sadie. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Abstain.
I'll make a resolution to accept the other three.
Carried.
I'll make a resolution to accept the other three.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain?
We
Okay, so
still
now
have
we're
the
gonna do
other
the
one.
supervisor.
I'll make a resolution to accept the supervisor's audit. Travis does second that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain? I received payments from you. Supervisor, that's my fault. So thank God you got to know.
Yeah,
Okay. Any other questions or comments? I do have a comment is, we're waiting to find out, we know that there are people from about Campbell Lane up to 22A that were not included in any bill of internet. The governor's budget contains $1 billion for picking up some of these lost sites. Don't clap too fast. We also have 2 grants put in to see if we can cover those. We don't know what the success rate's gonna be. But even if those grants were approved, those monies were approved today, you're talking a year to 2 years before you can start any construction. I've been waiting for Starlink. Starlink is the satellite internet. It's supposed to be wonderful. So all the satellites we put up in the air. One person on Manor Lane got Starlink, installed Starlink, so it was very easy to install. That they were very happy with the service, and they said, finally, we have high-speed internet. I would like to put an email on it. I would like to suggest people take a look at it. It is a hefty installation fee. It's about $400 for installation, maybe $400 or $500 for installation for the equipment. But it is something to take a look at, and I think it's a little higher. I feel unfortunate that people didn't get any service on that area. I do know why people wouldn't do it, because the telephone poles, some of that has changed, so some of the things may change, but in the next round, I'm going to understand that there was 2 factors. One was the raise of the pole, National Grid, and some of the other pole owners, pole owners, were taking advantage by saying that the selecting, if you want to get that pole, you got to replace the entire pole, and that's like $23,000 pole just to replace the whole pole. So, if you look at 22A up there was like 23 poles that had to be replaced. That's over $400,000 just to replace the poles. So that's been dealt with by legislation signed in January. The second thing is my understanding, and I haven't seen this, but I've heard from a couple of people who work on it all the time, is that the money for Connect Plus or whatever they're talking about, whatever we have called this program, the right-of-way charges per mile for, again, to the tax to the provider. I understand that that's been eliminated on this bill. If it's grant from this bill, that's eliminated. So it's substantial, bring it down substantially. And the tax was not on a one-time basis, a tax payment. So, that's what the problem really is. We have like 20 houses up there, 30 houses. They're paying substantially in $50 a month for 30 people. You don't pay for your investment, so it's a dollar decision now. So I understand that's in case to see what happens when the governor's budget finally gets, the New York State budget finally gets adopted in the 1st of April. It looks like they're fast tracking. There are a lot of other good benefits that are supposedly going to help small towns. I haven't heard them all, so I don't want to speak about them, but there are some advantages to people. The small towns, it's money coming out, so we'll hope to look and see what we get out of that. So one of the things that I've been thinking about is that we have $46,000 coming in ARPA funds. One of the uses is for broadband. I was considering whether we want to help potentially subsidize people who can't afford Starlink to get them the ability to do it. That's municipal use of ARPA funds. So, if you have 20 households, you're talking about $8,000. total. I think some people will take it, some people won't take it, but I'd like the board, whatever the decision made, think about it, think about if you want to think about subsidizing it, to help them out. Most installation costs are $100 to $200. I think for some people with families that don't have the benefit of having extra income to invest in this, this might be something to help. We put it based on need, we put it based on income. But, you know, I think it's something we need to do to help the residents out. So, any thoughts or comments?
Think about that.
Okay. So we remind you that the West Part use is strict for traffic lights. Okay, any other comments, public comments?
Public ones.
Public.
My only comment to what you just said, if there are families in that area who have children, and you end up with a situation again, with remote learning and whatever, it would be really nice if the town people would put that. And I know even for myself, I finally got mine, slick, installation cost wasn't all that expensive. And now that I have no tenant and you live on social security, there could be people there who might be in a situation where they can't. And if you're trying to live in today's world without being able to access the internet, you're getting left further and further and further behind. Everything says you want to order your 4 test kits from the government. You know, I get my email and I plug in and just go bing, bing, and they'll get sent to me. And I mean, there's just so much if you just don't have internet, which you know, I bitched about it for like 10 years. So, I mean, if you can help a few people and other people maybe don't get that benefit, so be it. But I think it would be nice for the ones that are left, who've been left out.
Well, I look at the issues with, let's face it, as much as people want to say COVID's gonna go away, it's not going away.
Every winter, we're gonna go through.
We'll go through the cycle, but we'll come out of the cycle, we'll go back into the cycle in spring. And what happens if we have another variant that's bad, where schools really have to think about doing things? Parents need to stay home, they can't work from home, they don't have to go out there on the internet, so, you know, we really should seriously consider this as something to help people that it's not their fault, that they don't have to deal with it. The county is chipping in a few $1 million from our funds, but that's not, that won't go for this, that will go for the matches we need for grants. And surprisingly enough, find this remarkable, but it costs $50,000 a month just to string cable. Well, it's not cable, it's fiber optics. We have a sizable area in Washington County that's not covered. We, even though it took 10 years to get to this point, a lot of our residents have 2 choices, Spectrum and Slick. They're fortunate, and you know, there's a lot of work putting into getting that done. I work closely with the broadband office and with public service commission, saying you're doing it alone because you're not covering people right, you're not covering the needy people, but they came up with a formula, and their formula is their formula, even though we showed them maps of who had internet, who didn't have internet. And they looked at it and said, okay, Dawn across the street had internet, and she's in a census block. That block's covered, so this entire area, in terms of formula, was sort of ignored. And they finally made some inroads, and it still punished people who there was no choice at all. So,
I have one other comment. Becky gave me this. This is on Rural Futures, which has come out because they realized that with the loss of so much agriculture and so much population that's moved out of areas, very small areas like ours, that they want to, must be in the legislature, they want to have a whole office for rural development and whatever. They got some really good ideas in here. And that it's good that they recognize that as agriculture in the state of New York has dropped dramatically, that they've got to start looking at those areas. And that was why the internet was so important. Because if people even attempt to move into my house and they say you don't have internet, they look at you like you live out in outer space somewhere. And it's like, that will really help all these areas. But this is an interesting thing that you think. There's ideas for us too, on what we're trying to do.
anything else?
No, it's not a big deal, but this is Tammy and Travis did my books and there was one question on there about a comparison. So this is my annual report for 2021 and I have them back to, I printed them back 2017. If anybody likes to take a look, we're pretty average, I pretty much say. That was 21's. That was my total intake. Most of it worked in New York State, but
So she made a net to the county of to the town of $3,000. House, total state and county. Not local revenues.
right there, 2003.
Yeah,
Okay. Took in 21,000, but the state got most of it.
yeah. So good.
I like a resolution that we pay the bills.
I'll second it.
Motion by Kenny, second by Mike. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mike, second by Kenny. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.